Good way to say, go. There it is. Look at that.
I've lived a pretty full life for being 40, and most of that can be attributed to football. The relationships it's allowed me to create, the people that I've met, the opportunities that have fell into my lap.
There it is. Good.
Some of the wisdom that it's given me, some of the toughness that it's given me.
Good way he said hit. Good. Excellent. Stay.
Mike Goolsby was a high school All-American, a Notre Dame captain and inside linebacker, and he had a brief stint in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys and the St. Louis Rams.
Your progression from high school to college to the NFL, and there's some wasted time there because you're trying to get caught up as far as like the football stuff, technique, keys, all those things. So I was like, man, if I could prevent a kid having to waste that time and ramp up his development, I want to do that.
My first time training with him, I actually didn't even know what a cover 2 or a cover 3 or any of that football stuff was.
I'd say the biggest thing that he first told me was my stance, because as a D lineman, your stance and your get off means everything. And if you're explosive off the ball, that's about like 50% of your game right there.
It was really born out of, as I like to say, when I was done with football, or when football was done with me, it left a huge void. And frankly, I didn't know what else to do. So I just started training kids. Kind of a give back, and selfishly for me, it was really cathartic. Kind of helped me move on past football as a player.
Good.
Sometimes it takes more to get noticed by a college coach. So Mike works with his athletes on things like building a highlight reel, preparing for camps, and navigating the recruitment process. The training is effective, and Mike says that's because it's all one-on-one.
So you can really take your time and be very particular in terms of your training. And then beyond that, you can build a closer relationship with the kid.
Yeah.
And that's really the fun part. Just take a kid, we don't know each other, but trust me, this is gonna be fun. And I don't think I could do that if it wasn't done on a one-on-one basis.
Avante Dickerson was the first athlete Mike worked with. A sophomore at Omaha Westside, Avante already had a lot of natural ability.
Top from Daly into the end zone and picked off by Dickerson.
Well, it goes nervousness for probably the first couple plays, but once you get rolling, I just love the feeling. I love being out there. That's the thing. With all those fans,
you could just tell being around the game, as long as like this kid's got something. Came to me as a wide receiver, switched him over to corner, and it worked out for him.
I mean, he played at the next level, so whatever he says, you can just take it and just learn from him. And that's really what I did.
Avante had a lot of success on the field, even when things weren't so easy at home.
I grew up in North Omaha, really rough nights. Bullets have come through the house. My house been robbed plenty of times.
Man, like, great kid. I see so much of myself in him when it comes to his background and his beginnings. Not having the options that a lot of other kids have the options to get.
Ken Fox has volunteered with youth sports programs in North Omaha for over a decade. In 2015, he co-founded the Black Police Officers Association, a nonprofit focused on bridging the gap between the community and law enforcement.
I tell people all the time, you know, I'm a police officer, I'm here to serve and protect. But if it wasn't for sports, if I didn't play football, if I didn't go to college to play football, I probably would be robbing you because of the background and the people that raised me and the culture that was around me.
Ken's organization offers free sports to Omaha youth, primarily for kids from places where violence hits hard. That's how he knows Avante, coaching him in Little League Baseball. Their relationship grew from there.
My father really wasn't in my life how he's supposed to be, but Ken really stepped up and really played that role. We're pretty much family. I love him to death.
That's my goal, and that's what I focus on doing for Avante, is just giving him opportunities and giving him someone to talk to and hang out with.
Avante's interests evolved to football, and when Avante said he was working with a trainer, Ken was skeptical and he wanted to know more. But then he got to know Mike and his work. And after Avante got a scholarship to play football at the University of Oregon, the two began thinking about how they could help other kids.
Not everybody's gonna end up being the #1 player in the state, but my mission for kids is to get their school paid for, to get college paid for at whatever level possible.
And that's one of the first things I told him. I don't care if you make D1 athletes. If I can take a kid from North to South Omaha, the disadvantaged, and they go to an NAIA school, that's a win for me. That's the same win as if they go to Alabama, to me personally.
It shouldn't be an instance where if a family can't afford training or they can't afford to drive to X, Y, or Z, that shouldn't be a limiting factor behind that kid pursuing a goal. This kid might have some ability, this kid's got some promise, this kid's just a great kid, you know, he deserves to have a shot to work with somebody. You know, Jamison Kemp would have been one of those kids.
Football's kind of like a therapy for me. You can really go out on the field and just let it all out.
Jamison Kemp, an Omaha Central defensive tackle, wants to become an economist and a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. But after a standout career as a collegiate and professional football player, he was another one of Fox's little leaguers.
Jamison had to work extra hard to get where he's gotten in life, and he's been extremely passionate about it.
After working with Mike, Jamison showcased his skills to coaches from all over the country at a summer camp. He walked away with 3 Division I offers.
But all I know is we got in the car, family, dad yelling, screaming, mom crying. It was just an amazing feeling.
He's like, Coach, I got great news. I got these 3 offers. And I was just like, praise God, man. I get emotional talking about it. So that's crazy. But I was just like, you know, he deserves it. You're prepping for it. The moment comes and you knocked it out of the park. And like, that's so cool to me. I mean, it's so fulfilling.
There it is, that's it.
The core issue is that there are kids that wouldn't have the ability to pursue a higher level of training that shouldn't get lost in the shuffle. That's gonna be my focus, helping kids that are committed, that might not have the resources otherwise, and they shouldn't get shortchanged in that process.
Helping young athletes achieve their dreams and creating mentors in the process.
So let's try and piece it up, peak, and then throw off. Does that make sense?
I have a servant heart, and so I believe that, you know, giving back is something that, you know, we're put here on this earth to do. See kids that were like you and then support them like you got supported. And so I absolutely have brought them in and made them mentors to younger kids.
Okay, good.
For me, I want to have young athletes look at me and see like, oh, he's doing that. I want to follow his footsteps.
Oh, there it is, good. Good job, Jameis. Good job.
Thankfully, I had great parents and great friends who were there for me. I know there are a lot of kids in bad situations who might need a positive figure in their life to really come and just uplift them and keep them on the right track. You know, so I always feel like volunteering and giving back is just a big, important part of what I do.
Because the next Jamison Kemp, the next Avante Dickerson, they're out there.
Stay square. That looks beautiful. That's a nice rep. That looks beautiful.